So let's move forward here. So here we are back to the tank that we introduced at the beginning and what we use as the basis for all of our planning and strategy for clients. The remaining income potential is $2.1 million. So essentially from age 45 to life expectancy of 90, this includes all income up to age 65, and then all of the defined benefits we just mentioned, the CPP and OAS indexed for inflation. So that's what the remaining income potential is. The investments are at 81,900. That's essentially 1 year out. That's that 5% return that we're looking at. And what we're going to do here is we're going to start at age 45, and we're going to step through to watch how the tanks behave moving into retirement. And then we'll make a couple of pauses just so people can keep pace. So let's start stepping this. So you can see the remaining income potential is going downward and investments are going upward because we are saving, adding to the kitty, and earning the returns. Now, what we saw here, I'm just going to back it up. Oops, sorry, back it up. At age 64, we're retiring at age 65. All of a sudden, when we start going through it, we're drawing against that investment tank. So it's actually going down. And the remaining income potential is what's left in this investment tank here, as well as the CPP OAS coming in. So that number is starting to go downward, as are your investments. And then eventually, you can see over here, I'll highlight this. You can see here the outflow is 137,000. That's in future dollars. That's that $78,000 or $70,000 inflated. But in any respect, we're just going to step through it a few more times here. And at age 69, 70, we're essentially done. So the investment tank is done. All that's left is the CPP OAS. So you can see the outflows now have dropped to $20,000. So tank is empty. Remaining income potential from 70 to 95 is really just the defined benefits, which are the CPP OAS. As we step through that to age 90, it's the same number, and then we're basically done. That's life expectancy. So Tony, did you want to add anything to this illustration that we just talked about, or want me to back up anywhere?
No, it's a good illustration. You've highlighted the right spots and everything, but I like the next screen. I like the numbers. Show me the numbers. Sometimes I'm definitely a visual person, but when it comes to numbers, it kind of shows you. Right now, we're targeting our age of retirement at 65, and as we pointed out earlier, between 69 and 70 is when you go no more money in the kitty to spend on your lifestyle. So basically, we start off with the increased retirement rate of return. I apologize. What do we need today to increase our investments to actually get to the magic number of 90, so that we could our money can last to 90? So if you want to click on that.
So this will now calculate the required rate of return.
Yeah. And so really what we're saying, if you want to have your money last to your age 90 and you retire at 65, that means you have to actually earn right from now 15.78% more than the 5% that we're targeting. Last year and some other years, it may have done that, but having that consistently over time is really tough. It's only an increase of 10.78%, so it doesn't sound bad. But then when you click on that, it's actually 215% over of what you're actually doing, and that's just it's impossible to do it consistently year in and year out. Not saying it can't be, but statistically, it's probably very slim. Wouldn't you agree with that, Ray?
I will, and I'm just going to pull up a market data piece and share with the people that are attending. So we can choose any index that they want to look at. So let's look at the TSX. We're Canadian, so let's look at the TSX. Start from 1980 to 2021. And you can see right here, the rate of return has been 6.03%. So that is really the rate of return that you've earned. The 15% that we saw up here in the other screen is definitely achievable in any 1 year, but on average, it's been 6.03%. So we just want to illustrate that we do have the tools to discuss this, and we can go very deep into market returns and start shuffling returns to see if you have a couple of bad years at the beginning. We're not going to do that today, but just wanted to illustrate that, you know, a 15% return, even though it may have been achieved last year, is not going to be something that can be done consistently. So Tony, I'll hand it back to you.
Okay, if you want to reset, and let's see. Okay, so if we can't really hit that 15% rate of return year in, year out, let's see how much longer we have to work to get our money to a point that it could last. Oh. Age 84, well, I guess for those that might be sitting behind a desk and really super enjoying what they're doing, that's not a hard number to achieve. But I doubt for those people that are slugging it out in the trades or any heavy machinery or any job that demands stress on your body from either standing long or carrying things. 84, I don't believe it is an attainable age, especially when that's life expectancy for a majority of people. So let's reset that, and I'll give you the next two.
Okay. Yeah. So again, these are how much longer you'd have to work to have your money last through your retirement. So now we're looking at spending less. So to maintain your lifestyle at age 65 through life expectancy, inflating that, you know, $70,000 a year, you need $130,000 a year in retirement to keep pace with inflation. So this is why we don't like that 60% rule. So an option is, and people say, well, I'll spend less in retirement. Okay, fair enough. So now what happens if you want your money to last? How much less do you need to spend? We'll find that out. You need to reduce your lifestyle by 70%, down to $38,000 a year in order to hope that your money lasts to your life expectancy, which is age 90. So that's a big reduction in lifestyle. I mean, imagine if you had to reduce your lifestyle today by 70%, how that would work out. It probably won't. So again, these numbers, as Tony said, we're not here to scare you. We're here to just kind of drive home some points. There are a lot of factors that are in play that we're not bringing in at the moment, but this is how we figure out the retirement ready. So you have to reduce your lifestyle by 70% to have your money last.
That's achievable, isn't it? Isn't it achievable, Ray? I think that's achievable.
I'd rather not, but you know, unfortunately, sometimes it's forced upon people, and that's the sad part. It's very difficult when you see people in that situation in retirement.
And I know I made light of it, but that's also including inflation. That the number with inflation is what you'd be wanting to live off of, and it's crazy when you see those numbers. Yeah. A lot of people don't factor any of this stuff in that we're talking about. So before we go to the last one, James, is there any questions out there?
Yes, we do have one question. The question would be the 4% rule withdrawal for retirees. Is that still a good idea?
Okay. You want me to handle that one?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So the 4% rule, or the minimum withdrawal rule, generally says if you take 4% of your capital base to retire, historically has worked. That rule has now been moved down to about 3% or so. The challenge with those rules of thumb, 3-4%, is what we call, and now I'm getting into a little bit of the weeds here, it's also a sequence of returns, which can affect your retirement. So if you have 2 or 3 bad years at the front of your retirement, it could eat your capital up very quickly. So it's a term that we call it's capital impairment. You could have your capital impaired permanently, and you'll never make that money back when you're drawing against it. So the 4% rule is probably more like 3-ish these days. I've seen it kicked around at 4, but I'd say if you want to be safer, it's probably 3. But again, it depends on lifestyle, what you've got saved. That those factors come into play. I hope I answered it. If I didn't, then please reach out and we can run through it in more detail. There's a lot of moving parts in that equation.